Hello there everyone, how are you? You alright? Excellent, I thought you might be. I had an inkling. Yes, it's me, Osian, here once again with a story for you that's found its way here to my little story corner. And this story is quite a special one because it wants to tell us about something very important that happened this week over 50 years ago. If you want to put that into numbers, I am 31. So this thing happened before even I was born. And I am not young. I'm an old grown-up person. But don't let that put you off. No, this story is Astro Girl by Ken Wilson Max. And it's about... Well, I wonder if you can guess. What do you think this is about, Astro Girl? Well, I think there's only one way to really find out, isn't there? What do you think? Yes. Shall we go for a story? Yeah? Are you ready for a story? Excellent. In that case then, I always have to check. Can I see your listening ears, please? Yes, those are the ones. Alright, in that case then, let's start the ignition sequence for Ken Wilson Max's Astro Girl. I'd say I really like the cover as well. Maybe you can see it's even shiny, like a star in itself. Let's see, where does it start? Here we go. Astrid had loved the stars and space ever since she could remember. And you can tell if this is her room. Look at that. You've got a space helmet, and that is a... That's right, that's a rocket. Look at this little globe there. Another form of aircraft. Wow. And what's she looking at? That's right, she's even looking at the stars through a telescope. That's the one. My goodness, are you sure you're not Astro boys and girls yourselves? You seem to know a lot about these things. I want to be an astronaut, Astrid told her best friend Jake as they gazed up at the stars. Will you bring me an asteroid when you come back from space? Asked Jake. Of course I will, Jakey. Oh, imagine that if your best friend went all the way up into space and got you a piece of actual asteroid. I think that's the type of thing that would make you best friends for life. I want to be an astronaut, Astrid said at breakfast. Are you sure? Papa asked. You'll have to go round and round the Earth in your spaceship. He swung her around. I can do that, Astrid giggled. There we are, see? She's already sorting her space breakfast with space hoops. I wonder what space hoops taste like. Are they like ricicles? I like ricicles. I'm sorry. Page doesn't want to be turned. Well, what about eating food out of a tube or a packet every day? I could do that, said Astrid, munching a cereal bar. Because you can't eat normal food. You can't have a cooker up in zero gravity. Everything has to be kept safe in little tubes and little packets. Not that I've ever been up myself. It's just what I've heard from other people. Okay, Astro Girl. You'll also have to get used to near zero gravity. And Papa threw her up in the air. I can do that all day long, laughed Astrid. My goodness. Can you imagine floating around in weightlessness? You wouldn't be able to feel anything, you'd just be there. It must be so weird. But I'm sure mums and dads will be able to help you out with the training. What about all the science experiments? Asked Papa. Could you do those, my star princess? Easy peasy, said Astrid, as they made her favourite cookies. Now, why do you think they're her favourite cookies? That's right, what are they shaped as? Rockets! Oh, they must taste so nice. Little bit very jealous. Little bit very jealous. Will a space cadet like you be able to sleep on your own among the stars? Papa asked. I think that it will be very hard, but I'll do it, Astrid whispered. I think she's had a very busy day. The cat and the dog and the papa. Her papa. It's not just the papa. But I think they're all ready for a bit of bed. Are they? At last, it was the day they were going to fetch Mama in the car. Astrid wore her favourite space t-shirt. There they are, in the car, getting ready. Rockets engaging. Blast off sequence in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, what's going on here? At the airbase, they moved to the front of the crowd just in time for the doors to open. Out walked 3 people. At the airbase? Well, I thought they were going to go pick up Mum. I wonder who's here. Mama! Shouted Astrid. They hugged and she gave her mum a big kiss. Mama, I missed you. Mama's an astronaut. That must be incredible. I want to be an astronaut just like you. You're my hero. Wow. How amazing must that be? To have your mum be an astronaut. One of the very few people who have been beyond our Earth and up in the stars. That must be amazing, don't you think? Oh. We even have a bit of information about space travel. Shall we read this as well? Yeah? Alright, well, what it says here is, this is what Astrid found when she read all the books she could find about being an astronaut. Alright, so, get to learn a few things as well. So the word astronaut comes from 2 Greek words. Astron, meaning star, and nautes, meaning sailor. Oh, so an astronaut is a sailor of the stars, or a star sailor. How interesting. American astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were the first to land on the moon in the lunar module Eagle on the 20th of July, 1969. So that would have been this week. And that was the 20th of July, 2020. So that is 51 years ago, they stepped on the moon. The first two people ever to do it. And not many people have done it since. The first animal to go into orbit was Laika the dog. On board the Soviet Sputnik 2 spacecraft on the 3rd of November 1957. That little worried looking dog there. But yes, Laika was even one of the first things from planet Earth, one of the first beings from planet Earth to be in space. And I think we've got some notable female astronauts here, some women who have been into space. Like Valentina Tereshkova. I hope I pronounced that right. If any Russians are watching, please let me know. But Valentina Tereshkova from Russia was the first woman in space in 1963. So it wasn't long after people had started popping off into space anyway. Shannon Matilda Wells Lucid, here, from the USA, set the record for the longest time spent in space by a woman. Because she spent 188 days up there in 1966. Wow! Can you imagine that? That is roughly a third of a year. That must be, what, 4 months up in space? 4 whole months. That must be incredible. Here's another one. May Carol Jemison was the first African American woman in space in 1992. And there she is, May Carol Jemison. My goodness. And here, Helen Sharman was the first British astronaut and the first woman to visit the Mir space station in 1991. So the Mir space station was an international project to have a space station up, well, in space, funnily enough. She was the first, not only the first woman on the space station, but the first British person in space. There's even more people here, look at this. Kapilana Chawla was the first woman of Indian origin in space. And she got up there in 1997. And there are still people being sent up there to this day. A few weeks ago there was a launch up into space by an independent group called SpaceX. And so hopefully they're circling around our planet and having a jolly good time in zero gravity. I know I would. But there's even more information here. I need to shut up and let you know things. Space food is dried so that it will not spill or leak and cause any damage to machines. Fruit, bread, and nuts are okay as they are. Oh, well, there we are then. If you're ever planning a trip to space, you know. Pack your bread rolls, pack your packs of peanuts, and make sure you've got a good apple there as well, because they're good, they're fine. And then astronauts train underwater to create the feeling of floating in space. Oh, wow! So you could pretend that you're in space if you go into your local swimming pool, maybe. Don't try swimming too much underwater, because no one will understand you. But I think that is the end of our space facts. Which means it's the end of our story for today. Did you enjoy it? Yeah. Well, I did as well, because I find space, I don't know about you, but I think travelling out of space would be, well, if you forgive the pun, I didn't mean it, but it would be out of this world, wouldn't it? It would be incredible. Not many people have ever been up past our atmosphere and into the stars like that. And who knows, maybe one day, if you work hard at it, if you study it, if you research into it, perhaps you could be one of the next astronauts. Of course, if you do go up into space, tell space I said hi. But I'm afraid that is it for this time. But I'm sure there'll be another story along before too long, finding its way here to my little story corner. But for now, I think it's time that we went to bed, isn't it? Here we are, my little blanket. And I'll see you all next time. And who knows, maybe I'll have another story as well. Here's hoping. But for now, good night everyone. Nostalgia.